And ladies and gentlemen, fear not, fear no longer. We have returned. I have returned. The prodigal son has returned 10 minutes into this qualifying session. We'll see how it goes so far. Mr. Baby is on provisional pole position in pretty dominant fashion. We're looking at Marino in P2, MVA P3. Ethan Patel, who I'm assuming will have a great race, great qualifying today, P4, and Beamer top 5. He just sets it for provisional pole. So they're flying right now, 123.8. And we'll see what these boys can do. Oh, and that boy just tripping. Spins out right there. It's really hard. It's not as bad traction as somewhere like Singapore in my experience, but it is pretty easy to spin around here, especially get on those weird curbs. Take a wrong angle on your toes, buddy. And let's go on to the new boy in the Williams. Last time you saw him was in that Alpine, but he moved to a different blue. Aaron Green with a great performance last week. Will he be able to replicate that? I know Blue Collar Jesus is hoping so, but it's always, these first new team jitters, it gets to you. We're gonna see what he does. I feel like this right here, it's so easy to lose time, even though it feels like you're doing it perfectly. And I think he could have maybe gone a little bit wider there, but still, we're gonna see how he ends up. That right there, that like tiny little bump right there, it just feels like you lose time so inconsistently. One time it'll be a 10, sometimes you'll gain time. It just doesn't make sense right here. I'm gonna stay flat through this corner right here. He's running out of steam. Nice clip right there, early on the throttle, and gets to the line. P3, Aaron Green, 124.9. Alright, fellas. 4 of us in here now. Wow. What the hell? Carl, your drivers are insane. This guy, I have to apologize to both of them, Mr. Baby and Mac. They're not reserve driver names. They sound like it, but they're not. Mr. Baby put on a disgusting, dominant performance. Fell short in the end just a little bit, but he clearly has the pace, so I apologize for any offense I may have caused Mr. Baby and Mac. But maybe Mac deserves it after what he and Beamer just were up to. That was bizarre. But we're on board with Ethan Patel right now. 2/10 up on his time, but he may just be on an outlap. Got 30 battery left, so he's only done a 23.9 so far. Who else can we get on board with? We'll get him for the sector. This guy's 8/10 up. Chonk 40.101. The Haas. Beamer obviously in the other Haas. 23.8 P2. We've got the Jack Fletch in the chat. Now on the Red Bull. And the 2 Red Bull drivers, Joe Duran. P18, NBA, P7. So not where they want to be. Maybe they need a little bit of Jack Fletcher motivation in their call. Well, we got a lot of... It's easy to get track limits here. We're getting a lot of them so far. He might just be diving in the pits anyway. But... Mr. Baby's in the pits. Theocritus out on track. Going into the pits. Everyone's coming into the pits except for Kaginis, who's starting his flying lap. Currently in P16 in that Ferrari. Not had a phenomenal start so far. So we're hoping, he's hoping especially, that he can improve that just a little bit. Coming in through Sector 2 at the moment, down his back straightaway. Depends, some people, I think most people run relatively low wings here. Some people like that little extra downforce, and that'll really slow you down that straight right there. And this one as well. It's hard to get on throttle early there. I feel like it's really prone to spins. But he's flying through Sector 2 at the moment. Like I said earlier, an awkward turn. He's 2/10 up, not looking great. A little bump. Important turn coming up right here. Gotta absolutely nail it, and he doesn't. That's such a difficult turn right there, and luckily he keeps out of the wall, but he's not gonna move out of 16th place. He's gonna stay there for the time being, as he goes into the pits, and maybe has time for that lap. Logan, PSQ 72, currently 3/10 up. Obviously, if you heard me say up or down, I mix it up. I don't know. I think he's 3/10 up at the moment, or down on his time. Dude, who cares, really? And then McLaren obviously not had a great season overall for combined constructors. And, goes a little bit wide. Maybe could have got a track limits for there, but hey, no harm, no foul. He's going to come to the line and do a 124.3. Puts him just barely ahead of his teammate Leo Hudson, who's a reserve driver at the moment, in P8. Joe Guron out on his flying lap is going to have that McLaren of, I believe that's just Logan. Yeah, it is. In front of him, maybe gets, some pretty good slipstream here. Might just be out of range. So if anything, it might hold him up. But Logan seems to be moving quite a bit, so no harm done yet. Joe Guron finishes the DRS, the first DRS zone of Sector 2, and starts the second. It took a lot tighter line there than we saw from Kaginis and the Ferrari earlier. Obviously, they're both down there. Joel Guron's lap is clearly not representative. He's on 147. He's going to smash that right here, really, no matter what lap he does. And Logan, brother, you got to get out the way. Wow, that is kind of weird. Ooh, kind of does. That's pretty good right there. Oh, dude, you got to full throttle that, dude. Lost a lot of time in that last sector. And does a 124.8. Yeah, I mean, even if he nailed that last sector, he's not looking at the 123. He's like you would hope. And Ethan Patel currently 3/10 up, set a fastest second sector. Sector 3 is where the money is made or lost. So we're going to see what he can do here as we come through Sector 3. Ethan Patel currently P3 in the Alpine. 2/10 off of Mr. Baby, who's sitting on provisional pole at the moment. See, there we go. Flat out right there. Coming to the last turn. Can he do something special? 121, 122, 123, and what's 123.5 for Ethan Patel to put him on provisional pole. But Mr. Baby and Beamer are out on track right now. We're going to see who else. Is that Marino coming to the line? So Marino in P5. Where is he going to jump him? No! Marino hits the wall. Absolute disaster class for him right now, but Berto dives into the pits. We're seeing the two Aston Martins. They go through. There's a Williams. But right now, all eyes are on Beamer. See if he can challenge Ethan Patel for pole position. And he does it, just a 10th off. And so Ethan Patel so far is safe. The next man to the line will be Mr. Baby. What time can he produce here? And he's not going to get it. Too much struggles through Sector 3. Can't go flat out. And he's not going to get it. It's not enough for pole position. He's in P3 right now. Will anyone contest that? Chonk, Xbox. What up, Brianna? Duncan. Oh, Marino's there. Duncan goes to P4. Pretty solid from him. NBA. You know, NBA had a red lap, so Mr. Baby P3. Roberto P7. I don't know why I just said both of them. Theo Hudson comes to the line, and he only goes P11. And that is your grid. Ethan Patel on pole position. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, that is not as fast as he can go. Beamer P2. Mr. Baby follows in Duncan, 45, 42, 45, with a kind of surprising P4, and Aaron Green making Ethan regret that trade. Who knows? P5 for Aaron Green. So he's got 2 solid sessions in a row for him. And then obviously Ben right behind him. So the Williams boys, Ben and Aaron Green, are killing it right now, punching well above their weight. And we'll see if they can carry that into the race. Obviously, qualifying is much different than the race, and people have their different strengths and weaknesses. But it's an exciting look for Williams so far in the qualifying session. Marino P7, NVA, the 2 Red Bulls with an absolute stinker. Joel Guron, what are you doing down there? NVA as well, what are you doing kind of down there? P8, Logan, PSQ 72, P9, Mac, Leo, Chonk, Leocritus, Kaginis, Aero, Zero, Legendary. You know, it's hard. He has like 40 different names. I can't keep up. Joel, Baberto in the Alpine. Look where Baberto's at. Look where Aaron's at. And then Hokage Roldy in Ranger, who is not meant to be in the session. And so that is quite interesting. But we'll see what they can do in the race. Ethan has obviously not had the greatest luck in the race. Hoping to turn that around here as he's on pole position. And I don't know how many times he's been on pole position in the fast. I know especially early days he was quite fast relative to everyone else. Like obviously he's been quick throughout, but like he was fine for pole positions in like the early D1 or D2 and stuff. I don't know if he had any poles last season. Haven't really been keeping up. So that's a job for the historians out there, like the Freddie Rosells of the world. But if not, maybe potential first pole position. It's exciting. I know he's done a lot on iRacing. So maybe that can help cool his nerves. I know he's got Major Castleman in there as well. Engineer of the Year, so says Luke Locklear. And, you know, we've seen a couple guys, a couple of drivers in the quick post-quali interview. You just didn't hear it. Like Marino said, he'd been to pole position, and so he's down in P5. But there's 4 lights. There's 5 lights. Who's going to get off the line? Ethan Patel gets off the line, but Beamer really gets off the line. He's going far. Ethan Patel has an absolute stinker of a start. Goes down into P4. Beamer P2. And there's, the 2 Williams already. They take each other out. An absolute phenomenal qualifying followed by an absolute disaster. What in the world did we just witness? Ladies and gentlemen, this is amateur hour. There's about 15 different cars that just spun right there. That, I don't even know what to say. Luckily, there's no safety car, or should I say unluckily, there's no safety car. That was disgusting. We got people down 11 positions, 13 positions, so the chain reaction of those 2 spins, probably guys having to take an awkward line right there. It's so difficult. But Ethan Patel's going to have to get back. Obviously, he has the pace faster than these guys, but I mean, we saw last week, Mr. Baby's hard to overtake. Beamer with a phenomenal week last week, hard to overtake. And Beamer is quick. And in clean air, he didn't have clean air for, I want to say, these last like 4 races. And so with clean air, it's going to be really interesting to see what he can do. NBA jumps 4 places as well. Leo Hudson down 4 places. Hokage Roldy's flying right now. That's my sleeper pick for all sleeper picks. He's going on the inside of his teammate. Going to pass him, go up 6 positions, up into P12, P11, as Ranger is, for whatever reason, out on track. Unless Ranger is D3 now, I have no idea what's going on. We got a lot of guys. Beamer sets fast lap, obviously first lap. Marino within 5/10 of NBA. And Ranger. Oh, this is a dangerous spot to make a move. Can he do it? Who's going to back out? He doesn't. Or I should say Ranger really backed out, but didn't matter. Hokage went a little wide. Right here, if you take an awkward line we saw in the first lap, it'll just make you spin. Obviously, 4 guys pitting. I think more than 4 guys were involved in that incident. And so, 2 laps in, we have seen absolute carnage. 4 of the drivers essentially out of the race already, barring a safety car, but there is a long way to go. Ethan Patel with an absolute horrid start. Aaron Green with a horrid start. Duncan with a horrid start. not an ideal situation for a lot of these guys. But then you look at Mac or Kaginis or Ranger or Roberto, who didn't have a great qualifying, and they're just shot up the grid. It's really mixed things up two laps into the race. Kaginis fighting with Mac right now through Sector 3, through the start of Sector 3. Kaginis loses out on that battle so far, and Mac's going to try to get as much space as he can through the rest of the sector. DRS will not be open this lap. I believe it opens after the third lap. I think Kaginis already with 3 warnings. Logan closing in on him. Chonk as well in the Haas. So the Haas sitting P1, P6 right now. 2 great starts for him. Aaron Green, P13, as Leo dives into the pits. And Logan, PSQ, he's, reeling in slowly but surely. Kaginis in that Ferrari. Ethan Patel, Mr. Baby. I mean, Ethan Patel's within a second of Mr. Baby, but Beamer is flying right now. Really pulled out a great gap so far. And then the rest of these guys, NBA is coming in just a little under a second, and then Marino behind him. Chunk following suit as well. And then there's the gap between Chunk and Mac in that Mercedes. And so Ethan Patel wants a crack at this win. He's going to have to overtake Mr. Baby. Obviously, he'll probably not be able to do so until DRS is open, which should be at the end of this lap, or the start of this next lap, I should say. And Marino losing out to Chonk. And so yeah, the 2 Haas right now are having an absolute amazing race. Marino obviously has the pace. Some might say he's a bit of a bottle job. You look at the history, but he clearly has the pace, and so he's going to have to do the get back. Ranger in P11, and there we are. We're seeing 127s already. I think 127 lows are what some of the guys are shooting for. Obviously, a bit of a ways off that, but can't knock him. Towards the back of the grid, we're looking at Arrow fighting the Bins of the world, and Kaginis into the wall. Cabanis, more like. And Ethan Patel, DRS is activated on Mr. Baby. He's closing in on him. Ethan Patel's not afraid to go for a move. I'll tell you that much. He's going to go a little bit too deep here. NBA is not close enough to take advantage of it, or is he? He is. He went way too deep. Ethan did right there, and Joe Gron's flying. Both of them luckily have DRS. Ethan Patel absolutely flying right there. And on the outside of NBA is Chonk. Can't make it sick, but he's going to look on the inside. Back to the outside. Yeah, these Haas guys are absolutely brilliant so far in these first 4 or 5 laps. And Beamer's up to a 1.5 second lead. Marino dropped out, so P2 to P5 are what's fighting. Marino's too far back at the moment to stay in this DRS train, and as the DRS train marks, it's just going to get greater and greater. Chunk goes super wide here. Maybe they'll have to look at track limits. I hear sometimes they don't enforce them too well on that turn. But we're going to see who has the wings, who's not afraid to use their battery right here. And Mac goes down. He had a moment, clearly. And so NBA burning a little bit of battery because he's under pressure from Chonk. Chonk might go for a little dive here, and he does. NBA don't turn in. Woo! And there's contact, obviously. And so Chonk going to have work to do again. But Marino coming in. Obviously, NBA super slowed down by the contact between him and Chonk. He allows him to slip into that P4 position. Obviously, we missed out on Mr. Baby getting overtaken by Ethan Patel as well right there. So there were 2 overtakes. I think 1 through the first DRS zone. Oh! Mr. Baby close to sending Ethan just to the shadow realm. Mac down in P11 now. He just keeps falling and falling. I mean, obviously he's four before us. Why do I keep saying obviously? So Ethan has some work to do, but I think Beamer at one point was 1.5 down to 1.3. We'll see what he can do. Chonk, P6 at one point, P4. A little bit too brave, if that's the correct word, going for a move on NBA from quite a bit of a ways back. I think it could have worked out, it just didn't. So we're going to see, can Mr. Baby do anything on this straight? He's losing time, so Ethan must be running some sort of low wings. He's now within a second of Beamer. And so this is huge for Ethan's race. Down into P3 at one point. I know I'm saying it like it's crazy, but he just had maybe one of the worst starts I've ever seen from a racing driver. Absolutely pitiful, and I know he's beating himself up for it, but if he can get within, he's within the DRS. If he can get back to it and overtake Beamer, I know he'll be ecstatic. NBA 2 seconds back from oh my god, and they're battling 3 of them right here. This is going to be okay. So Marino backs out of both of them right there. I think probably the wise decision, but we'll see really how it turns out in the end. He couldn't keep up with him earlier. Maybe you try to cause as much, not as chaos, but you try to stick your nose in places maybe where it don't belong if you're Marino. And Ethan now within 7 tenths, 5 tenths almost. Let's see what he can do. And he carries that corner a little bit differently than other drivers that I was on board with. He lets off a little bit more throttle, but gets on full throttle earlier, while if you're on board with other drivers, they kind of stay at that like 90% throttle the whole time. He goes down to about 85 and then hits 100. That's funny. NBA overtaken by Chonk. Is he going to go for a move on the outside? It's hard to make it deep right there. And Ethan Patel has a DRS. He had to use quite a bit of battery to get up to this position. Beamer has used virtually none. And Marino fighting again. So Marino stuck with him through the lap. Oh, a little bit scary, a little bit dicey right there. Loses the car just a little bit, so it's not going to allow him to tack right here where he could have. Logan getting 3-second time penalty. It's easy to go track limits here. And Mac up 4 positions, but really down like 6 positions. Mr. Baby clinging on to that DRS of Ethan Patel, Technic _ Speedy, the Alpine team principal. Ethan hasn't used a lot of battery so far from the last time we were on board with him. Trying to get a great run on Beamer here today, and this lap 8 out of 29. If you're just tuning in to the Sky Sports Network, make sure you hit the red button. Beamer, I mean, no DRS. Beamer seems to be flying down that straight relatively. And Chonk within a tenth there for a second. NBA has a spotty jump, so Chonk should get the run on him here. He's going to try to go on the outside. We've seen it, what, 3 laps in a row? What are they going to do? And Hokage Roldy down, overtaking. Must be a little bit of an incident down there, but right now we're on board with Marino, who's watching the Battle of Chonk and NBA. Well, make sure you hit the like button just one time, subscribe button just one time. If you hit it twice, bad things will happen. Also, you can go hit my socials, at CampbellRayLH. If you hit that follow button, a special sound, I think it congratulates you or something. Ethan within 4 tenths, Mr. Baby within 6 tenths, 5 tenths of Ethan. The rest of the grid is relatively spaced out. Obviously, we have Chonk, who's within, in and out of a tenth to 9 tenths. So Ethan loses a tiny bit of ground here, and Beamer's still cruising on that ERS. And Joel, that was Hokage, dives into the pits. And they're fighting Chonk and NVA once again. Last time there was contact. And NVA goes crazy wide, yeah. He's bouncing around a little bit. Maybe lets him go? Had to be a legal overtake. But now Marino's chomping at the bit, trying to get NVA. And he may have the run. Last time he just didn't have. He lost the car a little bit, but looks like he's going to have it here as Max overtaking Logan PSQ 72. He's got to shorten that name a little bit. Maybe just a Logan. Maybe just PSQ. Maybe just 72. As we're on board with our drone guy. Fun fact, our Yank Guinness DNF'd through shoddy game balance. And we saw it earlier. It is kind of different depending on your line, depending on your throttle. You can take that turn. So bizarre. But it's so easy to lose as well, and it seems really inconsistent. So unfortunately, the Ferrari of Guinness is out of the race as a result. And Beamer under threat of Ethan Patel. Ethan Patel, can he get the traction out of this? Mr. Baby has a phenomenal view of the battle going on right now. Beamer's going to have the DRS, so he might be a sitting duck. Ethan used a lot of battery right there. He's blinking, and Beamer's going to get the position back. So it was all for naught as Ethan Patel stays in P2. Chonk and NVA fighting as well. And Ethan used all his battery right there. He's sitting around 10%, and he's in between two people who are pretty much, you know, halfway or over halfway on their battery, and so he's at a huge battery disadvantage right now. You look at the drivers, even in the top 5, he has, you know, the lowest. We'll see what kind of tires everyone's running. So Chonk is on those medium tires. He's going to have to go in a little bit earlier than everyone else. And it seems the carnage we saw in lap 1 has died down just a little bit. Obviously, people are picking up time penalties, but it doesn't seem like there's really that much contact going around. Joel Guron within 2/10. He's flying right now. He's on fresh mediums. And Logan PSQ 72 is on even fresher mediums. Or excuse me. Joel's on 8 lap old, now 9 lap old tires. I thought it was a little bit younger than that, but oh, and Mr. Baby gonna put a lot of pressure using that battery on Ethan. Trying to go on the outside. Ethan squeezing him on the outside. And it's so hard to take a position on the outside of this left-hander right here. It's just, I'm not quite sure if it's possible. You'd have to put the person on the inside in quite a bizarre predicament, like a just weird positioning to make it really work. Otherwise, you're on the outside and you're just lost too much speed. You're going way too far out. Marino still in P6. And Chonk, we said he was going to dive in early. He dives in at around lap 11 or lap 12. And Ethan gaining just a tiny bit more battery than he had last time we were on, about 5%. Oh, Beamer nearly got rear-ended right there. Ethan way too late on the braking. It's going to allow him to potentially be overtaken by Mr. Baby here. Ethan's not burning the battery, but neither is Mr. Baby. Is Mr. Baby, he's going to look on the inside, just trying to make Ethan think about it, maybe tease him into going wide, and so he can get a good run on him here. Doesn't look like he's going to get the best run on Ethan, but Ethan has a little bit of wheel spin right there, and so maybe he will. He's going to use a tiny bit of battery at the jump. Ethan's going to have less than 10% battery. He has the DRS. Mr. Baby feints the inside once again. Like two out of 3 corners, he feints the inside, and Ethan doesn't bite. But this allowed Beamer to almost pull out of DRS as Ethan's having to defend from Mr. Baby. And Logan gonna get the overtake on Arrow in the Aston Martin. And, well, we all saw how that turned out. You know, pretty poor. We're seeing a lot of incidents in that corner. It is a tight one, but fellas, you got to be better than that. We're watching the ghost of Joel Guron right now. Duncan, 45, 42, 45. The teammate of the now deceased Kaginis in P9. He's within DRS of the Mercedes of Mac, MXCK. Beberto up into P7 as well. He's having a great race so far. Ethan Patel, 5/10. Joel Guron has magically teleported back into his vehicle. Who's going to get traction out of here? And Mr. Baby again, he has a much better run than he did last time. But Ethan's going to try to force it. Oh! Tries to go for a little dummy. Goes for the switch. Just doesn't have the space. It's such a weird time. But he's going to have a way better exit. He's going to go on the inside here. This is a crazy spot. Can he do it? And this is great racing so far. Obviously a little bit of bumping, but this track is tight. And compared to what we've seen from a lot of the other racers, this is absolutely phenomenal for Mr. Baby and Ethan. Great racecraft. Logan. Oh, gonna get the overtake on the Leocritus in that Alfa Romeo. The Leocritus doesn't have the benefit of DRS, and he had, you know, a pretty poor exit. But he's, you know, feints the inside. And now Mr. Baby has these last couple laps burned quite a bit of ERS, and so him and Ethan are sitting on pretty even ground. 25 for Mr. Baby, 21 for Ethan. Logan gets overtaken by Hokage Roldy. I think he had a moment there. And where has Chunk come out? Chunk is P11. We're going to see if he gets, you know, a big undercut on any of these front runners. I doubt he does. But it would be interesting to know he was fighting with MVA Marino at the time of his pit. Now Curtis dives into the pits as well. Ben doing a 27-3. Okay, Ben on the hard tire. I respect it. This is where Logan died last time. He's fighting the Aston Martin. It's a different one. And Mr. Baby dives into the pits. He goes in early. He's one of the first, him and Leocritus. Mr. Baby's the first leading driver to dive into the pits on the hards. Leocritus was the first. And so maybe Leocritus knew something. And Mr. Baby followed suit. We're going to see, does Beamer come in? Does Ethan come in this lap? Mr. Baby's come out in P10 behind Aaron Green. Aaron Green's not in the Alpine anymore. And so if Aaron was an Alpine driver, you'd say, okay, Aaron, hold up Mr. Baby as best you can right now. But he's in the Williams. If I'm Aaron, I'm shoving it to Ethan. I'm letting him buy it just like this. Didn't even try to take the inside line. And Mr. Baby, home free. Just think. If only he had Aaron Green. Obviously, Roberto's in a phenomenal position as well. P6. I think net P7, P8. So does Ethan go in? No, Ethan and Beamer stay out. Will Mr. Baby get a good undercut here, or is the overcut more powerful? Oh my god. and for contact with an Aston Martin for the second time. This time it ended worse for the Aston Martin, but he hit the wrong Aston Martin. Everyone knows Hokage Roldy is that dude, bruh. Don't do shit to him like that. If you want the get back, attack the guy who got you, and that would be Arrow, who's now sitting in front of you. Maybe he's going for both. It's a statement. I need to get both Aston Martins. But for the second time in a row, or not the second time in a row, but for the second time we've seen Logan PSQ 72. Oh my God. Nightmare race for Logan PSQ 72. We almost saw Arrow losing in that same position, just right in front of him. Luckily he caught it, but nightmare lap for Logan right there. Hokage gets his position right to the back. It's probably a little sweet seeing that. And Ranger now up into P4. A sleeper so far in this race. I honest to God thought he was limited to D2 and up. He was disqualified in the qualifying session, and I didn't know if that was intentional or, some blocking the pit lane nonsense. But he's climbed his way up into P4, so a phenomenal start so far for him. Beamer goes in. Ethan's going to stay out. And so it's going to be interesting to see where does Beamer end up. Right now, Mr. Baby is in P8. He's coming through the first turn right now. And he's going to overtake Beamer, and it's, I think, not going to be close. Yeah, so the undercut was correct. Leocritus, you are a genius. As Beamer's going to come out 3 seconds behind Mr. Baby. Now, will the tire wear at the end play a factor? I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the tire wear around here. It is only 30 laps, and so it should be relatively easy to get through, 15-15. But we're going to see how it ends up. Ethan Patel should come in this lap to do any sort of damage mitigation, or maybe he's doing a hard-soft strategy, Mega Brain hard-soft strategy. I think you'd have to wait till a lap, 5 more laps to do that? If that, maybe 6, 7. So we should see him come into the pits right here, and we do. Ethan Patel coming into the pits, and he gets a 3-second time penalty, so that's absolutely huge. I don't know if he'll get that because it was crossing the pit line. NBA stays out, Ranger pits, Roberto pits, so they're going to 2-stack. Mr. Baby is your net leader in this race. Beamer overtakes Ethan as well, and Chonk is not going to be able to overtake Ethan, but he gets a hell of a lot closer. So the undercut was the move for all of these boys. The NBA is going to have to come in as well. A little bit slippery right there. So, pretty fresh tires. Joel Guron overtakes Aaron Green. I think Aaron Green was at one point his driver. Joel, in the past, was a team principal for the Aston Martin, and I'm fairly certain Aaron was a draft pick of his. He overtakes his young protege. Let's take a look at the penalties for a moment. NBA sitting at 3 seconds, Ethan sitting at 3 seconds. And so it's going to be hard, really, for Ethan to realistically win this unless he puts on an absolute masterclass of race pace in these final 12 laps. Oh my. I think Duncan 45, 42, 45 just had a bit of a seizure. But he seems to be fine. Hop on board back with Aaron Green. Beamer's flying at the moment. NBA obviously goes in. Aaron Green going for, oh, looked at it, trying to psych his team principal out. Yeah, and Mr. Baby 2.5 seconds clear. And Ethan 4.5 seconds behind Beamer. It really feels like Aaron Green's being held up by Joel in the Red Bull right now. So Aaron is just on an absolute tear, 2 races in a row. Obviously, he had a pretty bad start, but he's shown he has the capability. He has the pace. He's really improved as a driver since his start of ZRL. He's really, really improved. You know, fighting with an absolute legend in Joel Guron. Obviously, both of them are not in a position, points-wise, that they want to be in, but they're showing they have the pace of getting to that level. Aaron Green overtakes Joel Guron down that first DRS straightaway. But remember, Joel is going to have DRS this time, and if he can get a good exit, he might have a good run on him. He doesn't get the exit. Too much wheel spin. Aaron's flying. He does have the DRS. He's burning ERS as well. I don't really know why he would be burning the ERS right there. He was clear within a second, so quite interesting. Both Red Bulls, they're making up positions from where they started, just not as much as they'd like. As Marino, we said it earlier, he's lightning in a bottle. He can be crazy quick, or he can have moments like this where he just loses the car. He's going to have to go in. That Alfa Romeo looks good, but it looks pretty bad without that front wing. Ranger putting pressure on Chonk. I think this is the first time. No. I mean, Ranger's tearing through the field. Unfortunately, we didn't get to watch it. He's going to go for an overtake on Chonk. We will get to watch this one. He's going to try to go on the outside. Locks up just a little bit. Chonk's still on the inside now. He's going to go. Woo! Chonk's going to have the DRS on him. Does he get a better exit? And MVA is invited to the party as well. 2 DRS versus Ranger. Chonk goes wide again. I don't see why these drivers are doing it. NBA gets through as Chonk goes wide. Ranger lives to see another day despite being attacked by 2 drivers with DRS. Inching closer and closer to Ranger. Chonk obviously on the older hard tire as well, so it'll be difficult for him to keep up unless he has quite a bit of pace advantage. And Mr. Baby doing what he couldn't do last week. I shouldn't speak too soon, really. He bottled it in the last. It wasn't really his fault. It was just unlucky timing last week, and so he's hoping to reclaim what was his. Mr. Baby leading the race. Beamer, P2, Ethan following suit. Those are your top 3 positions right now. A Mercedes, a Haas, and an Alpine. Right outside the top 3 is Ranger and an Alpha Tauri. NBA in a Red Bull. Chonk P6. He's sitting pretty in that disgusting Haas car. I'm not too big a fan of that. Mac P7, Baberto P8. Duncan and Aaron Green round out your top 10. So Aaron's made it back into the top 10 after starting P4, P5, I believe. Having an incident, I think it was P5, have an incident with, as Mac has his 2nd or 3rd incident of the race. So Aaron Green's back into the top 10. Okage Roldy, after being taken out, back P11. Joel Guron, P13. Leocritus, P12. Marino, having to replace his front wing, P14, 0, editor, P15, Bin, P16, and the 2 McLarens. Once again, they're just not having great weekends. It's a bit of a theme. Goes the outside. Is this the first time we're going to see it make it stick? No, maybe, yes. Joel Guron goes the outside and is the first driver we see today to make the move stick so far. He fights Leocritus for it, and he gets it. Obviously, Sector 3's going to nail it. It's hard to stick, especially with all that adrenaline flowing. You get on the throttle a little bit too heavy, you're going spinning. You got to take more speed through that, you coward. As he goes through the final 2 turn to finish his lap, overtaking Leocritus and the Alfa Romeo. Marino's going to overtake his teammate as well. Leocritus lets him by. Marino's clearly faster, and so now he has his sights set on Joel. Beamer's been clawing back at Mr. Baby, but Ethan has not. Ethan has not had. He's been kind of sitting in that 3.5 second range since the pit stop, really. And so it seems he might be out of contention for the win unless he pulls something together real quick. Logan PSQ has retired from the session. I was going to see how many penalties he had. Too many to count. And so now McLaren is a one-man army. Really a half-man army. Leo Hudson, reserve, only going to get half points for them. And it's down in P17. They might... I don't know. Do we round up or do we round down? If we round down, McLaren's getting no points this weekend. NBA P5. Yeah, he's had this kind of distance towards... As Chonk dives in the pits, he had to have an incident. And that's going to end Chonk's podium hopes. Obviously, they were fleeting there for a while. But they were definitely hot for a minute, and it's a shame they end this way. Yeah, like I was saying, NBA, they've had this gap for so long. NBA is just saving up that battery. And Beamer's almost within a second of Mr. Baby. Can he take 2 wins in a row? Will he knock Mr. Baby out of that top set of the podium for the second week in a row? About 6-7 laps left to decide. It's going to come down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. Great show, by the way. A lot of people go wide there. Whereas the NBA has a time penalty already. Wondering if that's where, you know, I mean, we're seeing, you stay on board with anybody, we're seeing them go wide damn near everywhere. Oh, did the penalty get taken back? Or did I trip him, dude? Damn. The stewards strike again. Carl Behrens has the deepest pockets in the history of ZRL. An absolute fraud. But we're at Abu Dhabi, where Mercedes go to die. Can Beamer replicate what Max Verstappen did 2 years ago? He's within DRS, 9/10 to be exact. And with 6 laps remaining, he's inching closer and closer. And I'm no betting man. Me when I lie. I'm no betting man. But I'd bet a pretty penny right now that Ethan Patel needs a pep talk. He needs someone to go in there. It would be me. But I'm constrained by the contract. He needs someone to go in there. Rile him up. He's losing too much time. You're better than this. Come on, Ethan. But right now, it really doesn't look like he's better than this. Mr. Baby and Beamer are in a class of their own. They're absolutely flying right now. Both these drivers have shown tremendous pace throughout the season. Last week, I mean, we saw Beamer cut up through the field. He was the star of the show. I think he gained 40 positions. And Mr. Baby pulling gap after gap, second after second. And it came down to the wire, winning through penalties for Mr. Baby. You can't see my air quotes, but when I say win, they were in air quotes. And Beamer's looking to take back what's rightfully his, the top step of the podium. And he's closer than ever now, putting a lot of pressure under Mr. Baby. It's important to get a great exit here if you're Beamer. It's even more important if you're Mr. Baby. And Mr. Baby doesn't get the exit. He doesn't get the exit. He doesn't have the DRS, but he's going to be on the inside, which is absolutely crucial as we've seen so far. But Beamer overtakes him to take the race lead with 5 laps remaining. But it's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. Beamer under pressure from Mr. Baby on the inside, and they touch! And they touch! They touch! Ethan Patel! He's going to go through! Ethan Patel! He's only P2! They absolutely touch! Ethan Patel goes on the inside of Mr. Baby. He doesn't get it! Mr. Baby, you are an absolute criminal. 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, it's been in Beamer's grasp, and he's just taking it from him. Ethan Patel still technically like 3rd place with penalties. If he was just a little bit faster, he could have snagged that P1 position. We're looking at a potential penalty here for Mr. Baby. I don't know what kind of damage. Beamer looked like he hit the wall pretty hard right there. I don't know what kind of damage he has. Mr. Baby should go away unscathed. His car, at least. His reputation, absolutely tattered. Beamer now under pressure after putting pressure on others this entire race, or the entire second half of the race for Mr. Baby. He was under pressure quite a bit for the first half. He's now under pressure from Ranger and MVA. Ethan Patel putting a lot of pressure on Mr. Baby, knowing there's a good chance he gets a penalty. Goes on the inside. Can he make a move? They're side by side right here. They were side by side before. We saw they were clean. Mr. Baby wasn't clean earlier. And he backs out. Ethan Hurd, this guy's a terrorist. Don't fight with him right here. I mean, there's a pretty good bit of race left. Mr. Baby's going to have to put on a master class. Ethan's going to have to really attack, really stay consistent if he wants this race win. But even then, Beamer's within 3 seconds. But it's in and out, in and out. If Ranger's putting pressure on him. So right now, Rangers is Ethan's best friend. Put as much pressure on Beamer as you can. Force him to defend. Force him to lose time. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen in the stewarding room. But Mr. Baby is potentially at risk, penalty-wise. And Ethan's going to go past him with the DRS. Mr. Baby's going to be on the inside here. He's going to late brake, and they're going to have contact. Quite a bit of contact. Oh my God. Mr. Baby kills a race leader for the 2nd time. And if I'm Duncan McCamick, I'm banning this guy from the league. What the hell is going on? Contact after contact. Boys, this is F1. We're not playing football. Real football. We ain't doing that. We're racing cars. They say bumping is racing. Dragging is race. Whatever the hell they say. I tend to agree, but tackling ain't racing. Crashing ain't racing. And so Ethan Patel's going to lose a shit ton of positions here. He's going to have to go into the pits. And Mr. Baby looking at a potential race ban next week. Oh, Ethan's staying out. But you're getting penalized for that one. As long as he doesn't fight, I think he should. I don't know. I mean, 3 laps is just kind of crazy to stay out. Yeah, he should just pit and then maybe go for fastest lap or something. Damn. So Beamer, after being taken out by Mr. Baby earlier, goes for an absolute move. Beamer said, fuck you. I don't blame him. Beamer's hot right now. Mr. Baby goes wide. Give him 6 seconds of penalties for going wide there. F him. Doesn't have the DRS. Beamer's going to go on the outside. Ooh, they get a little close. Too close for comfort there. Obviously, you're walking on the eggshells around this guy. It's a ticking time bomb. So Beamer takes the race lead from Mr. Baby, who's proven to be an absolute villain. Can he build a gap? So now MVA is on P2 watch. Ranger's on P2 watch. Baberto, not so much, but yeah, because the Mercedes, they got the stewards in their back pocket, dude. Sickening. Does he have damage? I can't see his front wing very well. Does he missing an end plate or anything? No, he just took a bad line. And so he's now out of DRS of Beamer. Did Ethan ever go into the pits? No, bro. Bro is a menace. What the hell? He's back within DRS, but it's too little, too late for Osama Baby Laden. As Beamer, barring any sort of bizarre incident, will finish Sector 3. Obviously right here we've seen several drivers just lose it under traction. It's hard to nail it right. Beamer takes it cautious. And despite all the odds stacked against him, despite the attacks, Beamer NG in the Haas takes P1, followed by Mr. Baby P2, NVA P3. It gets jumped by Ranger on penalties, but Berto's going to finish P5. That's a great race for the Alpine of Roberto. Duncan P6. Ethan Patel finishes P7 after starting on pole position. And obviously, if you just hear those two, it doesn't really tell the whole story. But nonetheless, that is the finishing position. Aaron Green, Ethan's former teammate, P8. Another, pretty good recovery after starting. He started P5, went down to P20, now up into P8. Joel Garon, P9. Chonk, who was at one point fighting for P3, finishes the race, finishes in the top 10. And so, top 10 is a Haas sandwich. P1, P10, Leocritus, P11, Ben, P12, the two Astons, 13-14, McLaren P15, 16-17, Marino and Mac. We have two non-finishers, Logan, PSQ 72, who had about 50 seconds of penalties, and Kaginis, who took a bad line through turn 2 and lost his life. That was a pretty good race, pretty fun one, chaotic start. Guys, if you're just now tuning in, go watch lap 1, the start of lap 1. It is the most bizarre thing you will ever see. I think 60 people. We have a 20-car grid. I think 60 people were affected. So, absolutely bizarre as Marino as well. Was at one point on the podium watch down into P16. Ranger, your driver of the day, started disqualified in qualifying, so started P20, P19, I think. We don't have a full grid. And gets up into P3. Great race from him. And great race from this man. That's not what he looks like in real life, but that is the virtual representation of him. Beamer NG. Did he do the Gwitty on the podium? He literally did the gritty on the podium. And he's hoisting up that Yas Marina trophy. And look at that. All the horrible engineers there at Haas celebrating for the first time since Gene Haas decided to join the F1 grid. Well, I guess Kevin got pulled at one time. But there you have it. Mr. Baby P2, Ranger P3, and Beamer MG, your race winner. We'll see. We'll do a quick little interview maybe, here or there. So we'll see what kind of shit goes on. Do we get any of these? I really only care about Beamer, no lie. Oh shit. Alright, we're gonna talk to Beamer real quick. What up, what up?
Yeah.
A race winner.
Hey.
This time it's legit. Last week you got stripped from your hands. This time it's legit.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
I'm so happy that Mr. Babe and Ethan got to an incident. Otherwise, it would have been taken away again.
Yeah, I mean, because we saw that, and then, yeah, it looked like Ethan was going to be on for it, and then, yeah, we saw you and Mr. Baby just died, and then you looked way worse off of it. Did you have wing damage from that?
Yeah. Front right or front left was yellow, and the other side was green.
Damn. Did you
I don't
still
think he
come
was
away?
25% though, so I should be good.
Well,
And I still had a lot of pace.
yeah, I don't think it'll matter as long as you weren't a danger to anyone. I don't think it matters. Like if you're racing, like you should be chill. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, dude, that was yeah. You were under pressure at the first half of the race, and then the undercut got you, and you just had to recover. Did you think
Yeah,
like the
I
whole
knew he'd
time?
get me.
Oh, so
Yeah.
did you mean to undercut? You just got the strategy wrong, or what happened in the
No,
pits?
I knew he pitted like wasn't left 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super early, so I know he would have really bad tires. So I just like pitted at the normal time and then gain on him throughout the race.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty dope win, pretty chaotic win. So yeah, congratulations, dude.
Thanks.
And that was the race winner. I don't know where anyone else is. I'm looking at the AlphaTauri chat. Rangers dead. Mr. Baby's hanging someone from their toes, dude. So congratulations to Mr. Baby as well. We're not going to talk to him today. Uh, he just hasn't joined the waiting room. But congratulations to him and Ranger for a good P2, P3 race. Um, and so yeah, that's been it. Chaotic one, super fun one. Obviously not if you're an Ethan Patel fan, but tune in about 40 minutes for the D2 race. Peace.